What's up, my fellow Bitcoin hodlers? Today I'm going to walk you through how to set up a Yeti Level 2 Bitcoin wallet. To start, let's head on over to a PC, launch an internet browser, and head on over to yeticold.com. Now you're going to see the 3 different levels of Yeti Bitcoin wallets. And today we are going to be going over level 2. Level 2 is recommended for storing between 5,000 and 50,000 USD worth of Bitcoin. It is a 3 of 7 HD multi-sig setup that requires only a single laptop. So let's go ahead and click the level 2 button. Step 1, gather required equipment. Gather the following items and then click next. A laptop that can run Ubuntu and Bitcoin Core. Almost any laptop made for Windows will work, but if your laptop has a solid-state drive, type hard drive, some steps will take a few hours instead of a few days. New laptops without SSD-type drives cost about $150 USD, and laptops with SSD drives cost about $200 USD. You can buy a used laptop on eBay for about $60, or you can buy a laptop from a store like Walmart and return it after setup as long as you are careful to erase it. You're also going to need an optical drive to write the CDs. Most laptops come with one built in, but you can also buy an external optical drive for about $15 on Amazon. You're going to need 7 blank CDR disks. Label the disks Seed 1, Seed 2, Seed 3 through Seed 7. And you're also going to need 2 USB thumb drives. These will cost about $3 each and will be used to install Ubuntu and to erase your laptop. Label one Ubuntu and the other transfer. Okay, and once you gather all the required equipment, let's go ahead and click next. Step 2, install Ubuntu. Install Ubuntu on your laptop following these rules. Use the long-term support LTS version of Ubuntu. This is currently 20.04 and is at the top of the download page. Yeti has not been well tested with any other Ubuntu version or Linux distribution. Use only trustworthy guides such as this one. Install Ubuntu. Use the USB drive you labeled Ubuntu to create a bootable Ubuntu drive. So let's go ahead and click the Install Ubuntu link. And that's going to take us over to the Ubuntu website. So I've actually already gone over this guide in another video, so I'm going to cut to that video, and when we're done with that, we're going to come back to the steps and continue the wallet setup guide. Okay, so this is the opening page, the overview. We're just going to go ahead and skip through that. So down below here, we see that it says we also have several tutorials that explain how to create an Ubuntu DVD or USB flash drive. We're going to be doing the flash drive, so we're going to go ahead and open up that tutorial page and go ahead and find how to create a bootable USB stick on Windows and select that. Skip over to step 2 requirements. You're going to need, again, a 4 GB or larger USB stick / flash drive, Microsoft Windows XP or later, Rufus, a free and open source USB stick writing tool, an Ubuntu ISO file, and again we're downloading the LTS version, and it has a link to go ahead and download that. Let's start off with Rufus. Head on over to their website. And we're going to download Rufus 3.13. And then we're going to head on back to the requirements and get Ubuntu page so we can download the LTS version. Go ahead and click Ubuntu Desktop and the Ubuntu 20.04.1 LTS. And we're going to go ahead and download that. So this is a fairly large file, so I'm going to let that download and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, and the Ubuntu Desktop file has downloaded. So let's go back to the bootable USB stick tutorial and head over to step 3. And it says to launch Rufus. So let's go ahead and launch Rufus. There she is. Insert your USB stick. So I have an HP 8 GB stick. I'm going to go ahead and put in the computer. And then Rufus will update to set the device within device field. Let's see if it did that. Yes, it did. And it's the only device I have currently in the computer. So it's the only one to select. If you had something else in the computer, it might show 2 devices. So make sure you have nothing else connected, and it'll be easy to pick the correct one. Step 4, boot selection and partition scheme. Get that back up. Okay, now choose the boot selection. Choices will be non-bootable and free DOS. Since you are creating a bootable Ubuntu device, select free DOS. Okay. The default selections for partition scheme, MBR, and target system BIOS are appropriate and the only ones available. Okay. Step 5, select the Ubuntu ISO file. To select the Ubuntu ISO file you downloaded previously, click the select to the right of the boot selection. So we got the boot selection right there. Hit the select. Open up the ISO file. Select the appropriate ISO file and click open. Write the ISO. The volume label will be updated to reflect the ISO selected. Yes, it did. Leave all the parameters with their default values and click Start to initiate the write process. So it's telling me I need to download a couple files to continue the process. So let's go ahead and do that. You will then be alerted that Rufus has detected that the Ubuntu ISO is an ISO hybrid image. This means the same image file can be used as a source for both a DVD and a USB stick without requiring conversion. Keep Write in ISO image mode selected and click OK to continue. And it's just telling me all the data is going to be wiped. So make sure it is backed up if there was any data on it to begin with. This is a fresh USB stick, so I don't have to worry about that. And it's saying it should take about 10 minutes. So I'll be back in a few. Okay, and we're back. The ISO file has completed. It says ready, so we're going to go over to step 10, installation complete. When Rufus has finished writing the USB device, the status bar will be green and filled with the word ready. Yes. Select close to complete the write process. Awesome. We're going to head back over to the install Ubuntu desktop tutorial. Most computers will boot from the USB automatically. Simply insert the USB flash drive and either power on your computer or restart it. If your computer doesn't automatically boot from the USB, try holding F12 when your computer first starts. Okay, we're going to go ahead and switch computers and go over to my laptop. Okay, so after putting my USB flash drive into my laptop and restarting the computer, nothing happened. So as per instructions, I pressed the F12 key on reboot and nothing happened either. So I went back to the tutorial page and read that F12 is the most common key for bringing up your system's boot menu, but Escape, F2, and F10 are also common alternatives. So I tried all 3 of those. Those didn't work either. So I went online and looked up my HP laptop and how to get to the boot menu, and it turns out I have to go through the Windows settings to get to it. Every device is going to be a little bit different. Again, the end goal is to get to the boot menu and boot from that USB thumb drive. So I am going to show you how to do it using an HP laptop. You're going to want to go to the bottom left corner to the Windows icon and go to Settings. And from there, you're going to go to Update and Security. And then click the Recovery tab. And under Advanced Startup, click Restart Now. And then we're going to go to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, UEFI Firmware Settings. And then click Restart. Now we see the startup menu. Hit F9 for the boot menu. Arrow down to USB hard drive and hit enter. So now we're booting from that flash drive. And that takes us to the Ubuntu install page. Okay, now that I've shown you how to create a bootable Ubuntu USB on a Windows PC, I'm going to show you how to create one on a Mac. Okay, now we're on the overview page for the install Ubuntu on your desktop tutorial, so let's skip ahead to requirements. So down below you're going to see we also have several tutorials that explain how to create an Ubuntu DVD or USB flash drive. So let's open that up in a new tab. And we're going to scroll down until we find Create a Bootable USB Stick on macOS. Let's go ahead and click that. Okay, we're going to skip the overview again and go to requirements. You will need a 2 GB or larger USB stick / flash drive, an Apple computer or laptop running Mac OS, and an Ubuntu ISO file. See Get Ubuntu for download links. So let's go ahead and download that ISO file. Right-click Open in New tab. Ubuntu downloads, Ubuntu desktop, go ahead and click on that. And Ubuntu 20.04.2.0 LTS. Let's go ahead and download that. Okay, so that's going to take a few minutes, and when it's done, I'll be right back. Okay, so the ISO file has successfully downloaded, so let's go back to our tutorial. X out of that tab, and prepare the USB stick. To ensure maximum compatibility with Apple hardware, we're going to first blank and reformat the USB stick using Apple's disk utility. But this step can be skipped if you intend to use the USB stick with only generic PC hardware. So we are going to be using this with a Mac. So let's go ahead and do that disk utility step. Launch disk utility from the Applications Utilities or Spotlight search. Okay, we're going to go down to the Finder. Go to Applications, Utilities, and Disk Utility. Okay. Insert your USB stick and observe the new device added to Disk Utility. Okay. Pop that in. Go back to Disk Utility. And there it is, no name. Go back to the steps. Select the USB stick device. You may need to enable the option View, Show All Devices, and select Erase from the toolbar or right-click menu. Set the format to ms-dos, parentheses, FAT, and the scheme to Guide Partition Map. Check you've chosen the correct device and click Erase. Okay. We have no name selected. Going to go up to Erase. Format ms-dos FAT32, so let's change that to ms-dos FAT, and click Erase. And click the Done button. Go back to the steps, and go to the next step. Install and run Etcher. To write the ISO file to the USB stick, we're going to use a free and open source application called Etcher. After downloading this and clicking to mount the package, Etcher can either be run in place or dragged into your applications folder. By default, recent versions of macOS block the running of applications from unidentified developers. To sidestep this issue, enable App Store and identified developers in the Security and Privacy pane of System Preferences. If you are still warned against running the application, click Open Anyway in the same pane. Okay, so let's go to Settings, Security and Privacy. And the App Store and Identified Developers is already checked, but if it wasn't, we could always unlock, punch in our password, and then we could change it. Okay, let's X out. Okay, let's go ahead and download Etcher. Go ahead and right-click Etcher, open a new tab. Head on over to their site and click the Download for Mac OS. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let that download, and when it's done, I'll be right back. Okay, so Etcher has successfully downloaded, so let's go back to the steps, X out of that tab. Let's go ahead and run Etcher, so I'm going to go down to Finder, Downloads, and double-click Etcher. And double-click Etcher again. Yes, open it. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the steps. Etcher configuration. Etcher will configure and write your USB device in 3 stages, each of which needs to be selected in turn. Select Image will open a file requester from which should navigate to and select the ISO file downloaded previously. By default, the ISO file will be in your Downloads folder. Okay, let's go back to Etcher. Flash from File. Downloads. And Ubuntu ISO file, and click Open. Okay, go back to the steps. Select drive, replaced by the name of your USB device if one is already attached. Lets you select your target device. You'll be warned if the storage space is too small for your selected ISO. Okay, let's go back. Select target. Okay, I'm going to select my flash drive and click select. Go back to the steps. Flash will activate when both the image and the drive have been selected. As with Disk Utility, Etcher needs low-level access to your storage hardware and will ask for your password after selection. Okay, go back to Etcher and click Flash. Pop in my password. Okay, so that says it's going to take about 10 minutes. So when it's done, I'll be right back. Okay, the write to device has completed. Flash complete. The disk you inserted was not readable by this computer, so we're just going to go ahead and eject that. Take that out. Go back to my steps. Write to device. When everything has finished, Etcher will declare the process a success. Congratulations, you now have Ubuntu on a USB stick, bootable and ready to go. All right, awesome. So let's go to boot to your Mac. Step 7, boot your Mac. If you want to use your USB stick with an Apple Mac, you'll need to restart or power on the Mac with the USB stick inserted while the Option/Alt key is pressed. This will launch Apple's Startup Manager, which shows bootable devices connected to the machine. Your USB stick should appear as gold/yellow and labeled EFI boot. Selecting this will lead you to the standard Ubuntu boot menu. Okay. So you can get a little picture of what that's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and power down my Mac, and I'll show you how to boot from the flash drive. Okay, so I've closed out all of my windows. I'm going to shut down the Mac, click the Apple icon, and click shut down, and shut down again. So now I'm going to insert my bootable USB drive, turn on the Mac, and hold down Alt Option. And that's going to bring up the boot option. Select the EFI boot, either one will work, and hit the arrow up. And that's going to run Ubuntu. And it's going to take us to the Install Ubuntu page. And we're not going to install yet, we're just going to try Ubuntu. Okay, and once the screen pops up, you're going to go to the bottom left corner where the 9 dots are, Show Applications. Go to Disks. And now we're going to delete each partition on the hard drive. So you're going to hit the minus button and delete. That was the first partition. We're going to go to the second one. Same deal, minus button, delete. Third partition, delete. And the last partition, minus button, and delete. Now we're going to add a partition that takes up the entire space of the hard drive, so 128 gigabytes. Hit create, and it's creating the file system. Once that's done, you can X out and click the Install Ubuntu. And we're going to select English and hit continue. Keyboard layout, English, continue. And we're going to do minimal installation and hit continue. Erase disk and install Ubuntu, install. Continue. And then we're going to select our location and hit continue. And then we're going to put our name in and a password. And click continue. After that installs, go ahead and restart now. And then it's asking me to please remove the installation medium. So just take out your flash drive and hit enter. Continue boot. Once that reloads, log back in. And to finish the install, live patch, just hit next. No, don't send system info. Next. Location services, no. Hit next. And we're ready to go. Okay, now that we have Ubuntu installed, we're going to go ahead and check for updates, but first we need to connect to the internet. Unfortunately, my HP laptop doesn't have an Ethernet port, But luckily I have this Ethernet to USB adapter. So I'm just going to plug my Ethernet cable into this and plug the USB in. And in the top right corner, we're going to be able to see that we are now connected to a wired connection. Awesome. Now you can also connect to your Wi-Fi. At the top right corner, hit the down arrow and Wi-Fi not connected. So I'm going to click on that, select network, and I'm going to find my network, connect, type in my password, and connect. Okay, now that you've entered your password, we can double check to make sure the Wi-Fi is connected. And it is. So now you can either use a wire connection or your Wi-Fi connection. Okay, now that we have an internet connection, let's go ahead and check for updates. To do so, go ahead and click the 9 dots in the bottom left corner, Show Applications. And right here, you're going to double click Software Updater. It's going to go ahead and tell us if we have any updates to install. And go ahead and click Install Now. It's going to prompt you for your password. Go and punch that in. Okay, now that the software updater has installed all the updates, let's go ahead and restart now. Now that you've restarted, let's head on back over to your other computer where we have yeticold.com pulled up and head back to step 2. It says when it has finished installing the update, click Next on this page. Okay. Step 3, switch to your Ubuntu laptop. On your freshly installed Ubuntu laptop, open Firefox and type the following URL into the address bar to continue to step 4. Okay, I'm going to head back over to my laptop and open Firefox. And I'm going to punch in 2.yeticold.com. Step 4, download Yeti to your laptop. On your laptop, click on the 9 dots in the bottom left corner of your Ubuntu desktop and then click Terminal. Click Copy to copy the text below this line. Okay, we're going to go and copy that. Click the 9 dots, Show Applications. Open up Terminal. Right-click, paste, enter. Punch in my password. Enter. Okay, now we're to create or recover a wallet. Very exciting. So let's go ahead and hit the Create Wallet button. Now that's going to launch Bitcoin Core, which will start syncing to the blockchain. Right now, the blockchain is roughly 340 gigabytes, so it's going to take a while. The time it takes is going to depend on if you have a solid-state drive and if you have a good internet connection. So I'll be back when it's done. And I'm back. After 5 days, I have finally synced to the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, it did take me 5 days, but it probably should have only taken me 1. Unfortunately, my internet service provider decided to throttle me. But no matter how long it takes you, do not be discouraged by the process. You don't have to do anything, and you just have to sit back and relax and wait for it to sync. But once it does, now you know the entire Bitcoin network is being honest with you. And you have validated every single transaction in Bitcoin's history. Knowing there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins without trusting anyone is priceless. Okay, so let's head back on over to step 5. Finish downloading the blockchain. Now that Bitcoin Core is synced to the blockchain, go ahead and hit the next button. Okay. So this is an unnecessary, but kind of a cool step that you can take to add more randomness to the Bitcoin seed creation process. Now, the Bitcoin Core developers are expert cryptographers and have already sufficiently done the work to randomize your Bitcoin seed creation process. Again, this is just something you can do if you want to go the extra mile, and it can't hurt anything. But because it is unnecessary, we're just going to go ahead and click the skip button. Step 7. Copy seeds to CDs. Insert your CD labeled Seed 1, open the Files application and click on Documents, copy the file named Yeti Seed1.txt to the CD and click Write to Disk and then click Burn. When you see Data CD successfully burnt, click Close and remove the CD. Okay, so I'm going to grab my CD labeled Seed 1, pop that into my CDR drive. Okay, and once that loads up, I'm going to go to my Files folder. Go to Documents, select Yeti Seed1.txt, right-click Copy, go down to my CDR drive, right-click Paste, Write to Disk, and Burn. Okay, data CD successfully burned. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out of my CDR drive and put it back into my case. I'm going to go ahead and click close and X out of that. Repeat steps 1 through 4 above with your other 6 seeds and seed CDs respectively, then click next to continue. So for example, I'm going to take my seed 2 labeled disk, I'm going to pop that into the CDR drive, I'm going to go to my documents folder, copy over the Yeti seed2.txt file, and then paste that into my CDR drive, burn it, eject it, and then repeat the process for seed 3. So I'm going to get my CD labeled seed 3. I'm going to pop that into the CDR drive, go to the documents folder, copy the Yeti seed3.txt file, go back to my CDR drive, paste that in, write to disk, and burn, etc., for the other seeds. Ensure that you have a different seed on each of your 7 seed CDs labeled seed 1 through seed 7 before clicking next. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the process and burn all 7 CDs, and when I'm done, I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. I've burned all 7 CDs, so let's go ahead and click the next button. Step 8, check seed 1 of 7. If you lose access to more than 4 of your seeds, your Bitcoin will be permanently lost. Insert your CD labeled seed 1 and select the file Yeti seed1.txt and then click next to continue. Okay, so I'm going to pop in my CD labeled seed 1. Okay, that's loaded up, so I'm going to click browse, go to the CDR drive, select the Yeti seed1.txt, click open. So once you open the text file, it will paste automatically all of your NATO phonetic alphabet words, which is your seed. If you don't know what the NATO phonetic alphabet is, it's what the military uses. Capital Kilo, all capital letters, is just a capital K. Lowercase whiskey is a lowercase W. Lowercase India is a lowercase I, and so on. So it actually shows you if something's wrong, it's going to show red, and it's going to show green if you're good to go. So all these are good to go, and I'm just going to hit next. So after you hit next, you're going to be prompted to check seed 2 of 7. So I'm going to skip this process, but you're going to want to go through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, making sure that all your disks are properly burned and that you didn't copy any of the same seed twice. So after you check the last seed, your 7th seed, go ahead and click next. Okay, step 14, copy erase file to USB. Insert the USB drive labeled transfer. Open the files application and click on documents. Copy the file named erase.txt to the USB drive and then eject it. Okay, so I'm going to grab my USB labeled transfer, pop that in. Okay, I'm going to go to the files folder. I'm already on documents. I see the erase.txt file, going to copy that. Go down to my transfer USB, right click paste. Awesome, and I'm going to go ahead and eject that. Okay. And X out of that. Your Yeti wallet is now ready to test by sending and receiving small amounts. On a device other than your Ubuntu laptop, go to guide2.yeticold.com for step 15. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my Windows PC, launch a web browser, and go to guide2.yeticold.com. Step 15. Send and receive using Bitcoin Core. Send and receive a small amount to confirm your wallet is working correctly. After you have finished testing, click Next to continue. Okay, so we have receive. Step 1. Open the Receive tab. In the Bitcoin Core application on your laptop, click Receive. Step 2. Create new receiving address. Click Create new receiving address. Okay. Step 3. Confirm you are using the correct wallet. Confirm that your wallet shows Yeti Wallet Priv. You can now send money to the wallet using the QR code or the address displayed below it. Okay, awesome. So let's head back on over to our Ubuntu laptop and launch the Bitcoin Core wallet. We see the overview, balance, send, receive, and past transactions. Let's go to receive. And let's create a new receiving address. Okay, and a QR code pops up along with a new address, and the wallet is showing Yeti Wallet Priv, so we're good to go. So I'm going to go to my phone wallet. I'm going to go to the scan QR code option, and I'm just going to put that up to the screen. and it automatically loads the address. I'm just going to double check the address. Looks good. I'm going to send $10 worth of Bitcoin. Now I'm going to choose the fee. So I'm going to choose a low priority fee because I'm in no rush for it to get there. And I'm going to click send. Bitcoin Core incoming transaction, 0.0003 BTC. Very cool. Click OK on that. And I can go to my transactions. And I can double click on that and check the status. And right now I have 0 confirmation, so it's unconfirmed and it's still in the memory pool. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that. Go back to overview. And you can see pending amount, 0.0003. So I'm going to wait for that to confirm, and when it does, I'll be back and I'll show you how to send it out of your Bitcoin wallet. Okay, now that our transaction has confirmed on the blockchain, let's head back on over to guide2.yeticold.com. And we're going to scroll down to the send instructions. Send. Step 1. Open the options page. In the Bitcoin Core application, open up Settings, Options. Okay. Settings, Options. Step 2. Open the Wallet tab. Click Wallet. Okay. Click Wallet. Step 3. Enable coin control. Make sure the Enable coin control features is checked. Then click OK. All right, we're going to enable coin control features and click OK. Step 4, open the Send tab. Click Send. All right, let's go to the Send tab. Step 5, open the Inputs page. Click on the Inputs button. Okay, let's go ahead and click the Inputs button. Step 6, select the UTXOs you wish to send. Your UTXOs will be listed here displaying their amount. Select the UTXOs you wish to send and then click OK. You must send the full amount in the UTXO. All right, so we only have one, so let's go ahead and click that and click OK. Step 7, create the transaction. Paste the recipient's address in the Pay To text box, then click Use Available Balance and check Subtract Fee from Amount. Then click Create Unsigned. Okay, so my recipient address is on a USB flash drive, so I'm just going to pop that in. And I'm going to open up the text file, copy, go back to the Bitcoin Core wallet, and right-click, paste. Okay, and then we're going to click an amount, and we're going to use available balance, and we're going to use the recommended fee, and we're going to click send. Step 8, review the transaction. Review your transaction, then click the send button. Okay, we're going to make sure everything looks good. Fee looks good, address looks good, and we're going to go ahead and click send. Bitcoin Core sent transaction. All right. So if we double click on the transaction, we see that there's 0 confirmations and it's in the memory pool. Okay, now that we've broadcasted the transaction successfully, let's go ahead and head on over to our Windows PC and continue with the steps. Okay, so go ahead and click the next button. Step 16, restore your wallet. Restore your wallet with 2 sets of CDs to make sure you can recover your wallet with any 3. Set aside the 3 seed CDs labeled Seed 1, Seed 2, and Seed 3. Okay, got them right here. Restart Yeti on your laptop by clicking on the 9 dots in the bottom left corner and click the Level 2 icon. Click Recover Wallet and follow all the steps until you have tested sending and receiving a small amount of Bitcoin using these seeds. Be sure that when it asks you to import your seeds, you use these 3 CDs you set aside. Okay, so I'm going to head on over to my Ubuntu laptop. Going to go to the bottom left corner, 9 dots, Show Applications, and I'm going to launch Level 2. Punch in my password. Okay, now I'm going to go down to the Recover Wallet button. Click that, and that's going to launch Bitcoin Core. Okay, and once that's done syncing to the blockchain, let's head on back to step 5 and click Next. Step 6, import descriptor. Insert any of your CDs labeled Seed X and select the file yetiseedx.txt in the Yeti Seed X folder and then click Next to continue. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Seed 1, open up my CDR drive, pop that in. Okay, that's loaded up, so let's click Browse. Go down to the CDR drive, select Yeti seed 1.txt and click open. Okay, go ahead and click next. Step 7, rescan blockchain. Okay, go ahead and click next. Step 8, import seed 1 of 3. Insert one of any of your seed CDs and select the file yetiseed.txt in the Yeti seed folder, and then click next to continue. Be sure that you select a different seed file each time you are asked. You need to provide 3 different seed files to recover your wallet. Okay, so I already have the seed 1 loaded in, so let's just go ahead and browse. Go back to the CDR drive, already there, Yeti seed 1.txt, and click open. Okay, scroll down, click next. Step 9, import seed 2 of 3. Okay, I'm going to pop in seed 2. Okay, that's loaded up. Click browse. Head back down to the CDR drive. Select Yeti seed 2.txt and click open. Scroll down. Click next. Step 10, import seed 3 of 3. Okay, grab your seed 3 and pop that in. Okay, and once that loads up, go to browse, CDR drive, Yeti seed 3.txt and click open. Scroll down, click next. Okay, Bitcoin Core is going to rescan the blockchain, and when that's done, I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. We've successfully rescanned the blockchain, so let's go ahead and do that test receive transaction. Go ahead and go over to your B, and we're going to go to the receive tab and create new receiving address. And the wallet is showing Yeti Wallet Priv, so we're good to go there. So I'm going to head on over to my phone wallet, go to the scan QR option, scan that QR code. Okay, I'm going to send 0.0004 Bitcoin, and I'm just going to double check the address is correct. Looks good, and I'm going to click send. Bitcoin Core incoming transaction. All right. X out of that and go over to transactions. And if we double click the transaction, we can see that there's 0 confirmations and it's in the memory pool. So when that confirms on the blockchain, I'll be back and we'll do a test send transaction. Okay, now that our transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, let's go ahead and do a test send transaction. First thing you're going to want to do is go up to the settings tab, options, wallet, and make sure enable coin control features is checked. Then click OK. Head on over to the send tab and click the inputs button. And we're going to select the UTXO that we want to send. So let's go ahead and do this one. Press OK. And now we're going to want to enter a pay to address. My address is on a text file on a USB drive. So let's go ahead and pop that in. And open that up. Double click the text file. Copy. X out. Eject. X out of that. Right click, paste the address in. Okay, and then we're going to want to use available balance and subtract free from amount. And let's go ahead and use the recommended fee that Bitcoin Core shows. Click send. And then I'm going to double check the fee amount and the address. Everything looks good, so let's click send. Bitcoin Core sent transaction. Awesome. And if we double tap the transaction, we can see that it's in the memory pool and it has 0 confirmations. Okay, now that we've tested sending and receiving the first 3 seeds, let's head on back over to the steps on our other computer. After you have sent and received a small amount, but before you erase your laptop, repeat steps 2 through 4 with the CDs labeled Seed 4, Seed 5, and Seed 6. Okay, I got those right here. So let's head back on over to our Ubuntu laptop and begin the recovery process with these seeds. Okay, let's head on over to the bottom left corner, 9 dots, show applications, and double click the Yeti level 2 icon. Pop in our password. Okay, and we're going to go to the recover wallet button. Click that. And that launches Bitcoin Core. Okay, go back to step 5. Finish downloading the blockchain and we're good to go. So click next. Step 6, import descriptor. So let's grab one of our seed CDs, do seed 4. Pop that in. Okay, once that loads up, go to Browse, go to the CDR drive, click the Yeti seed4.txt and open. Click Next. Rescan blockchain, click Next. Step 8, import seed 1 of 3. So seed 4 is already in there, so let's go ahead and browse for it again. Click Yeti seed4.txt, click Open. Scroll down and click Next. Import seed 2 of 3. So we're going to do seed 5 now. Okay, that's loaded up. Click Browse. Go to the CDR drive. Select Yeti seed5.txt. Click Open. Okay, scroll down. Click Next. And import seed 3 of 3. So we're going to pop in seed 6. Okay, once that loads up, click Browse. Again to the CDR drive. Yeti seed6.txt. Open that up. Scroll down and click Next. Okay, Bitcoin Core is going to rescan the blockchain, and when that's done, I'll be right back. Okay, now that we've successfully rescanned the blockchain, let's go ahead and do that test receive transaction. Go ahead and hit the Receive tab. Create new receiving address. Okay, and we're just double checking that wallet is showing Yeti wallet priv. We're good to go. So I'm going to head on over to my phone wallet. Go to the scan QR code option and scan the QR code. Okay, and I'm going to send 0.0004 Bitcoin. Okay, looks good. Going to go ahead and hit send. Bitcoin Core incoming transaction. All right, very cool. Go ahead and hit OK. If we go to our transactions and double click that transaction, we can see that it's in the memory pool with 0 confirmations. So when that confirms, I'll be back and we'll do that send transaction. Okay, our transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, so let's go ahead and send it out. First, let's head up to the Settings tab, Options, Wallet, and confirm that Enable Coin Control Features is still checked. It is. Go ahead and click OK. Let's go on over to the Send tab, Inputs, and I'm going to go ahead and select the UTXO. Click OK. And now we need to paste in our pay to address. Again, I've put my address on a text file on my USB flash drive, so I'm going to pop that in. Open that up. Double click address.txt. Copy the address. X out. Eject. Right click, paste the address in. And I'm going to use available balance and subtract fee from amount. And I'm going to go ahead and use the recommended fee that Bitcoin Core is showing. Click send. Okay, I'm just going to double check my address and the fee. It looks good, so let's go ahead and click send. Bitcoin Core sent transaction. Awesome. So if we double click on the transaction, we can see it's in the memory pool with 0 confirmations. Okay, now that we've tested seeds 4, 5, and 6, let's head back on over to our PC and continue the steps. When you have finished testing your restored wallet, click Next to continue. Okay, go ahead and click Next. Store seed packets and deposit funds. Store your seed packets in safe locations and then deposit the funds you wish to store in your Yeti wallet. Label 7 envelopes something like Do Not Open, Last Will and Testament of Steve Jones, delivered to next of kin. If anyone discovers the envelopes, they should know it is important, but inappropriate and uninteresting to open them. Do not give any indication these envelopes are related to Bitcoin. Now remember, earlier in the setup of the Level 2 wallet, we created 7 CDs with a different seed on each of the CDs. Place each CD in its own envelope. You will then have 7 different seed packets with a different seed in each one. This means if someone has access to 3 of your seed packets, they can take your Bitcoin. But if they only get their hands on 2 of them, they cannot steal your funds. This also means you can lose or destroy 4 of the seed packets, but you can still access your Bitcoin wallet. Store the envelopes in places such as home and office safes, lawyers' offices, accountant offices, safety deposit boxes, and trusted friends or family members. Lawyers and accountants regularly store important documents for customers without charging a fee. Even if you need to pay for an unnecessary review of your books or your existing will to create a new relationship with a lawyer or an accountant, the annual cost to have these documents safely stored and handed over to your loved ones if you die is very cheap. Ensure that you distribute your seed packets geographically so that you will be able to recover at least 3 after a major natural disaster. Do not tell anyone storing these envelopes that they are Bitcoin related. Anyone storing these documents should believe they are important, but do not offer a thief financial rewards. Consider that someone needs to have 3 seed packets to spend your Bitcoin, but only 1 packet to be able to view your balance and transaction history. After you have secured your seed packets off-site, deposit the funds you wish to secure in Yeti Wallet and then click Next to continue. Okay, let's go ahead and click Next. Step 18. Erase your laptop. Erase your laptop to ensure your Bitcoin can only be spent using your seed packets. So let's go ahead and head on over to our Ubuntu laptop and begin the steps. Okay, in the top right corner, hit the arrow down. Go to power off, and power off one more time. Now we're going to insert our bootable Ubuntu USB, power back on the laptop, hold the escape button to get to the boot menu, and arrow down to that thumb drive. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let the Ubuntu install page load up, and we're going to hit try Ubuntu. Okay, once that loads up, we're going to insert our transfer USB, open that up, take the erase.txt file, copy that, and go to the documents folder, paste it into the documents folder. Okay, X out of that, go to your bottom left 9 dots and go to terminal, open up terminal, and then we're going to go back to the documents folder, open up the text file, and copy that first command. And we're going to paste that into the terminal and hit enter. And then we're checking to see if the hard drive is frozen. Right now it is frozen for me. Okay, a quick fix for that is to go to the top right corner, power off, click suspend, and after a few seconds, power back on the laptop. And then we're going to go back to the terminal. And open up the terminal, right-click the same command, enter, and now it's not frozen. If your hard drive is still showing that it's frozen, go ahead and contact Yeti support at yeticold.slack.com. Okay, now we're going to go back to the text file, and we're going to copy the second command. Go ahead and copy that, and right-click and paste into the terminal, and hit enter. Okay, now that we see that is successfully completed, we're going to go back to the text file, copy the third command, and right-click and paste that into the terminal. Okay, now it's issuing the security erase command. After a few minutes, you should see it complete, and there it is. It is now completed. Okay, now that we've erased the laptop, let's head back on over to our PC and continue the steps. Your laptop has now been erased and you have completed setup of Yeti Level 2. Awesome. Now that you've set up your Bitcoin wallet, be sure to check out the Yeti Cold Slack group. You can find an invite link below in the description of this video, or you can check us out on Twitter at Yeti Wallet. The Yeti Cold Slack group is a great place to find support and chat with fellow community members. Be sure if you get any advice to let community members verify that that advice is correct. The Slack group is open to the public so anyone can comment. 3 trusted members that are the project managers behind YetiCold.com are Will, JW, and Robert. When you are ready, consider upgrading to the Yeti Level 3 Bitcoin wallet. In Level 3, we use a second air-gapped laptop that never touches the internet. This further increases the security of your wallet. So that concludes the Yeti Level 2 Bitcoin wallet setup guide. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.